Hello Tubesters, it's Gav and we're back with yet another video. It's one of those weeks today where they're coming up quite often. These are, most of you will probably know, are Perry Miniatures plastic British Infantry. These are depicting the 100 Days campaign, I presume, or at least around that time. They've got the Belgique, whatever you want to call them, shakos on. They've all got covers on them. Now, I haven't painted plastics in a long time, I don't think. You know what I'm like with my brain, but I don't think I have. Not for a while. Loki gave me these. I mean, his channel's, I wouldn't say defunct, but he hasn't obviously posted anything for a couple of years, maybe more. I think he gave me these about 3 years ago. And just to make some profit out of them, you know, paint them up and sell them on. Now, I did try them more or less once I got them, and with this, I haven't got this usual pre-planned video. They do come with a pose where most of you guys will know, as I say, I just don't do plastics very often, where the arms are holding the musket and you just supposedly put them to the figure. But do you think I could get these to fit the figure? Not a chance. I've tried them on every pose there is and I couldn't get them then. I tried them again about a year ago and I still couldn't get it to work. And I've tried it again, and in the last, well, obviously yesterday or the day before, I think I started these. I've just been pottering away, sticking a few together every now and then. I'm not particularly good at it, just like with scale modelling, so I stick to metals. But what, I don't know about you guys, the pros and cons of plastics, I suppose. Let's see, fragility, probably, I suppose, if you're going to be rough with them, but I don't really think that holds up. I do know that people say the Victrix bayonets and things snap off really easy. These, I would imagine, would, if you give them a good clout, will snap off. But I always fell to the sea, especially, you know, I throw a lot of effort into my painting, and if they were my soldiers, I don't pick them up by the figure, I always pick them up by the base. I'm not heavy-handed with them. You know, there's obviously people can drop them, but yeah, so fragility isn't too much of a problem. I did some of the Perry American Civil War figures a good few years ago now, and I did find the detail quite soft on those. I was fairly disappointed, and they've got the hats that stick onto the heads, and they always just never sat right to me. Again, it could just be the way I was sticking them, probably was, but I was not particularly impressed, and that did put me off a bit. And I've only painted, I think I painted a unit of Prussians, the unit of Carabiniers, and I'm not sure if I've done any others. I can't promise. But yeah, so people say the fragility wise, there is some soft moulding in places. Maybe you don't get it as good as, well, you won't get it as good, I don't think, at the moment as metal figures. But if the moulding is a bit soft, I wouldn't say on these particularly. There's obviously shortcuts. I mean, you won't see, say, any wooden detail on the drinking canteens, that type of thing. But you can paint that in with a couple of brush strokes. You know, that's not too much of a problem. You've got the sticking together aspect of it. It probably took me about 4 hours, maybe 5, to stick these and clean them all off. I don't know if that's good or bad. As I say, I don't really do them, but I was doing them, you know, a couple of hours over about 3 nights. And posability, I think, is what wins out for me. Even only the small bits, just making heads, you know, your head's turning different ways, up, down. I've got them looking down, I've got them looking up, looking from side to side, you name it, you know. And it just, when you look at a unit like that, it just gives that bit more dynamicness to the pose. You know, I mean, I like this guy here, one of the flank companies. Found the flank companies, I couldn't get the arms to go back to reach the pouches or anything like that. And again, that could just be me. I'm just not somebody like Justin who sticks 10,000 of them in a month together. He probably is well used to it. But I struggled with on the flank companies getting the arms to be a bit more poseable. They seem to be quite restricted. And as I said, I just could not get it was a shame I couldn't get the firing line pose to work for me at all. The figure came, I think it came with a busted arm, but I can't honestly remember if I busted it or not. But yes, that's Gav Skillet sticking an arm on one of the other ranks. I've hacked it off, and that'll do for me. They're going up on eBay. Yes, I know I should be more proud of sticking things together that you're selling, but it really is. I've had these that long. I just wanted to get them on some MDF bases and get them up and bring some revenue in really. But I do like the poses, I must admit. I've got a unit of French coming. I actually bought a unit of the older Perry. I just went for the cheapness. I bought a used box that hadn't been opened. I think it was £18 for free delivery. And the newer box set that I've seen of the French, it was a lot more expensive. Well, with the postage and that, probably £5, £6, £7. I don't know, but I was just after something else to keep in reserve. Yeah, this is what Gav's got up next. So the only thing as well is, again, you always want more. I would have liked maybe some of the shakos without the covers on. I'm not going to try and bother to convert or anything other than if it's not on the sprue, it doesn't get put on. I'm not going to start trying to make Belgic shakos out of the stovepipes and all this. But maybe a couple of ones with the cords on, and that would have been nice. Obviously I could get a sprue of more command, but I'd only get one more sergeant. I would have liked maybe a couple of sergeants with a pike. Where is he? Oh, here he is. I've got him looking down the ranks. He seemed with his hand at rest there on his waist, on his hip I should say. So I've inclined his head. But I'd have liked a couple more sergeants, a couple more drummers. I just think it breaks up a unit. But no, I'm hoping they'll come up quite well. There'll be the odd gap on the arm. I have put some plastic filler where it was needed. I haven't gone to town on it, so there will be the odd little tiny gap, I think. But I'm happy enough with that. So we'll see what we can make of these ones, guys. As I say, they're going to be. I only have 2 lots of colours. One of my own colours for one of my own regiments, but it wasn't in the 100 Days campaign, so it's a Peninsula, can only be used on the Peninsula ones, and I'd already done these. I'd forgot I'd got it, so I believe I actually bought a colour for these when I was buying some more, and it's the 1st Foot Guards, so it'd be the Grenadier Guards. So they'll have the blue facings. I think that's it. Just wanted to do a quick call, not so quick as usual with me. Decided to leave the plastic poles and that with the finials on for the colours. Colours are GMB, and hopefully over the next week or two you'll see these develop, and again I'll show them every so often when I feel like putting a video up. So they'll be painted to the same standard hopefully as I paint my metals. It's just obviously different poses, and they might be a bit awkward as I've tried to push poses out of figures that probably weren't really meant to be exactly that, like this guy here. I've got I'm not sure if that was really supposed to be a pose, but it looks a bit different. It just breaks up the unit again. I did do a couple more, which I've now lost in amongst everything, all the grey primer. They've been well, this guy here again, I've had him just, that's normally holding the musket, but I've had him, as off going through, he's about to do something with the musket. Yeah, it's AK primer, shot through an airbrush. I do find that's probably the most economical and better way to prime rather than a rattle can, if you have got obviously an airbrush. It tends to, you can get into most of the places. So thanks a lot, guys. Hope all's well with you. Hope you're getting your figures and your kits knocked out while we're all under yet more lockdowns, and we'll catch each other very, very soon on another video. Cheers.